Smuggling might sound like something from a pirate movie, but it's a real problem that happens all around the world. People who smuggle are called smugglers, and they try to move things from one place to another without getting caught, usually because those things are not allowed. Some smugglers have become very famous for their sneaky ways and for how clever they are at avoiding the police. Let's take a look at 10 smartest smugglers in the world. 10. Pablo Escobar. Pablo Escobar was a man from Colombia, a country in South America. He became very famous, but not for good reasons. Escobar was involved in smuggling, which means he secretly moved illegal things from one place to another without getting caught. He focused on smuggling a dangerous drug called cocaine into the United States. It's estimated that he was responsible for about 80% of all the cocaine that came into the country during the height of his activities. Escobar was known for being very clever. He used planes, submarines, and special routes that were hard for the police to find. He made a lot of money from this illegal work, which made him both powerful and feared. People knew his name all over the world, not just in Colombia, but Escobar's life was also very mysterious and dangerous. He had to hide a lot and was always moving around to escape the police. His story reminds us that doing illegal things, even if you are smart, leads to a troubled life. 9. George Young. George Young, also known as Boston George, was an American who became famous in a very bad way. He was involved in smuggling drugs, specifically cocaine, from Colombia into the United States during the 1970s and early 1980s. Young was part of a big group that worked with a very dangerous drug cartel from Colombia, which is a group of people who make and sell illegal drugs. Boston George was clever in how he brought cocaine into the country. He figured out ways to hide the drugs so that the police wouldn't find them. He was so good at this that he became one of the main people who brought cocaine into America at that time. However, being involved in smuggling drugs is illegal and very risky. George Young's life was full of dangers, and he spent a lot of time hiding from the law. His story is a reminder that doing illegal things can lead to a life full of troubles and worries. 8. Frank Lucas. Frank Lucas was a man from Harlem, New York who became very famous, but for doing things that are against the law. In the late 1960s and early 1970s, he was involved in smuggling heroin, a very harmful drug. Lucas had a secret and clever way to bring heroin into the United States. He used to hide the drug inside the coffins of American soldiers who were coming back from the Vietnam War. Lucas thought that no one would check the coffins of soldiers for illegal things, and for a while, his plan worked. This allowed him to bring a lot of heroin into the country without getting caught at first. He made a lot of money from selling drugs, but he also caused a lot of harm. His life was full of danger and secrecy. He always had to be careful to avoid getting caught by the police. Frank Lucas's story shows us that using clever tricks to break the law can lead to serious consequences. 7. Manuel Noriega. Manuel Noriega was a man from Panama, a country in Central America. He was not just any man. He was once the leader of Panama, which means he was very powerful. But Noriega did things that were very wrong. He was involved in smuggling, which means he secretly moved illegal things from one place to another without getting caught. Noriega used his power as a leader to help him in his smuggling activities. He was involved in smuggling drugs and also helped other bad people smuggle things too. Because he was the leader of the country, it was easier for him to hide his illegal activities, and it was hard for other countries to stop him. His life was full of secrets and dangers, and he used his power in ways that hurt many people. Eventually, people from other countries came to stop him because he was causing so much trouble. Manuel Noriega's story teaches us that using power for bad things can lead to big problems. 6. Dawood Ibrahim. Dawood Ibrahim is a man from India who became very infamous, but not for good deeds. He's known for being involved in smuggling, which means he secretly moves things that are not allowed from one place to another. Dawood didn't just smuggle small things, he dealt with really big and dangerous items like illegal drugs and weapons. He is also said to be the leader of a large group that does many illegal activities, not just in India, but in many countries around South Asia. This group is like a big, bad team that causes a lot of trouble wherever they go. Dawood Ibrahim is so sneaky and good at hiding that even though many countries' police are trying to catch him, he has managed to avoid them for a long time. His life is like a shadow, always hiding in the dark, and he is always involved in secret plans that break the law. His story is a reminder that living outside the law can lead to a life full of danger and running from justice. 5. Amado Carrillo Fuentes. Amado Carrillo Fuentes was a man from Mexico who became known as the Lord of the Skies. He earned this nickname because of his unique way of smuggling drugs. He used a large fleet of airplanes to transport illegal drugs across borders. This was a new and clever way to smuggle because it was faster and could carry more drugs than other methods. Amado was one of the most powerful drug traffickers in Mexico. He controlled a lot of the drug trade and made a lot of money from it. However, his business was very illegal and very dangerous. Using airplanes, he managed to avoid the police and other authorities for a long time. His life was mysterious and filled with secrets. He was always planning how to move his illegal goods without being caught. Despite his cleverness, living a life of crime brought him many dangers. Amado Carrillo Fuentes' story is a cautionary tale about how a life of crime can be risky and full of uncertainty. 4. Zhenli Ye Gon. Zhenli Ye Gon was a businessman from China who lived in Mexico and got involved in some very serious and illegal activities. He was part of a big drug operation that made a drug called methamphetamine, which is very harmful and illegal. Zhenli Ye Gon had a sneaky way of doing his illegal work. He used to hide the drugs in shipments of chemicals that looked normal and legal. This way it was hard for the police to find the drugs because they looked like regular shipments. His life was like something out of a mystery story. He had to be very careful and secretive about everything he did. Even though he appeared to be just a businessman, he was actually deeply involved in dangerous criminal activities. Eventually, his actions caught up with him, and he faced serious consequences. Zhenli Ye Gon's story shows how someone can use their intelligence for wrong purposes, leading to danger and serious trouble with the law. 3. Granny Smith. Granny Smith, which isn't her real name, is a nickname for an elderly British woman who became famous for smuggling, but not in a good way. She was known for smuggling artifacts and jewelry across Europe. What made her so effective was her appearance. People usually don't suspect an older lady to be doing anything illegal, so she used this to her advantage. She would hide valuable items in her bags or clothes and travel from one country to another without anyone getting suspicious. Her actions were very wrong though. Smuggling steals from history and cultures and it's illegal. Granny Smith seemed like a sweet old lady, but she was actually breaking the law in a big way. Her life was full of secrets and sneaky moves, always trying to avoid getting caught by the police. Granny Smith's story is a reminder that appearances can be deceiving, and doing illegal things, no matter how cleverly done, can lead to serious consequences. 2. Christopher Coke. Christopher Coke, also known as Dudas, was a man from Jamaica who became very famous, but not for good reasons. He was the leader of a group called the Shower Posse, which was involved in smuggling and drug trafficking. This means they illegally moved drugs and other things from one country to another, making a lot of money but breaking the law in a big way. Dudas was known for being very smart and good at avoiding the police. He and his group were involved in smuggling drugs into the United States and other places, causing a lot of harm and trouble wherever they went. His life was shrouded in mystery and danger, always trying to stay one step ahead of the law. Eventually, his actions led to big problems. The police from different countries worked together to try to stop him because he was causing so much trouble. Dudas' story is a reminder that living a life of crime can lead to dangerous situations and serious consequences. 1. El Chapo. Joaquin Guzman, better known as El Chapo, which means shorty in Spanish, was a famous smuggler from Mexico. He was the boss of a big group called the Sinaloa Cartel, one of the most powerful drug trafficking organizations in the world. El Chapo was very smart about how he moved drugs into the United States. He used tunnels, trains, and even submarines to secretly bring illegal drugs across the border. El Chapo was known for his ability to escape from the police. He managed to escape from prison not just once, but twice, which made him even more mysterious and infamous. His life was like something out of a movie, full of secret plans, escapes, and hiding from the law. But living a life of crime like El Chapo's is very dangerous and leads to serious problems. He caused a lot of harm to many people. His story teaches us that no matter how clever someone might be, breaking the law has serious consequences. So this was all about today's video. Do let us know your thoughts and comments. Please subscribe to The Luxury World. Thank you for watching.